The country on the internet and the CIA.
Yep.
Come up.
Yep. But you
Get
know
their version or whatever. Matter of fact, most of the version you get be the CIA version because they be trying to keep.
Yeah, I know. He smoke. But he's responsible. He ain't smoking.
Check. Check. I guess so. Check. One, mic one. Okay. Mukasa is one.
Yeah. What they got? Wheat? You want wheat? Yeah. All right.
You know I don't like no white bread, man. Like no white rice.
No white bread, no white women. You know that. It's a rule. Black out.
Like a white neighborhood.
Yeah.
He said I don't like white. You don't like when white people dress neither.
I can't help that. Until we start manufacturing our own clothing. Like if you go to the continent, I'll give you some money to bring back some things made for us. Absolutely.
No, why don't you just go ahead and get stuff manufactured?
It's just right down in the West End. Should make all mine.
Passport. I ain't got no passport right now. I'm working to get my passport.
Why you take your passport?
They said it was child support, but I ain't missed child support payment about 5 years.
Damn.
Should have been giving the African queen more than what she needs.
Yeah. But they live in America though. More than what you need might not be. I got 5 children.
That's good. You should make sure all of them take good care of.
Made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
So keeping Saturdays and studying on Saturdays. Studied myself right out of the book. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that
God that you all mean, that you all believe in, that you all mean, that you all believe. Make us believe. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
people made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
So keeping Saturdays and studying on Saturdays. Studied myself right out of the book. Black Atheist. Right out of the book. Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that
God that you all mean, that you all believe in, that you all mean, that you all believe. Make us believe. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
Yeah. Black sun in the hizzle. For shizzle dizzle. Got another episode of Black Atheists of Atlanta where conversation rules the nation and we use information to back it up, where we come with a problems and solutions from a non-spiritual, non-religious, basically non-spiritual perspective. And I want to introduce my
Get it right.
general and comrade, got Baba Mukasa and Brother Ankh.
Revolution.
Black African power. A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. We've been having some very interesting shows. We're going to make sure Africa get its props today. Got the information. We're going to throw it down. We ain't shooting from the hip. I'm coming with the scholarship. What's up there, Black Son? What's good with you, brother?
What's going on, Yeah, this week, I want to deal with administration of government. You know, last week we talked about socialism. We talked about communism. We talked about capitalism. 3 functioning economical systems which work in the world today, systems that we are recognized with, whether you live in America or the South Americas, or you live in Russia, Cuba, or, you know, those are the 3 systems. And so, you know, we took those systems and we kind of critiqued them and kind of looked over them, kind of compared them, we debated them, you know. And this week I want to deal with the administrations, because I know you had a problem with Mao Zedong, you had a problem with Fidel, you had a problem with a lot of those communist administrations.
Great people.
Good you know, people. The administrations, you know.
Right people. Right
now, Mukasa, I know you know half of the people I just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
You want to?
I not only know them, I served them.
Oh, you served them? No.
Some of their armies.
Okay, you know, Brother Unc, he had seemed to have a problem with the administration there. You know, explain some of your encounters. You know, you serving over there, because I know.
Well, I'm a soldier for Africa, and that I work with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and we worked and fought hand in hand with people like Fannie Lou Hamer, Ella Baker, Martin King, Jim Foreman, right. Stokely Carmichael, A-Trap Brown, and that's just to name a few. But through this fight for human rights and civil rights, we had to now talk about our people hungry and being exploited in the worst way. We were still in slavery. So we went out, we fought side by side with men like Martin King. Okay. And we fought with Martin King. And when we began to go out and fight for African rights or black rights, to force them to pass certain bills and to stop the exploitation, it was the African governments that spoke up for us. Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, the Mau Maus in Kenya, Lumumba in the Congo, and other leaders spoke up for the liberations of us inside this country. And Kwame Nkrumah and the different African leaders like Sekou Touré in Guinea embarrassed America so badly that they went on and pushed themselves to pass what they call the Civil Rights Bill, because they raised questions: how you gonna call yourselves African friends and got black people or African people inside the United States going in back doors and saying yes sir to white people and being lynched and hung and murdered in the streets? And they forced the United States to pass a civil rights, voters' rights bill. But not only that, Mao Zedong in China, he spoke up for us, because the Chinese Revolution, when they got power, the one thing they did is focus on brothers and sisters in the United States, and he wrote a paper called Spectrum of Black Power.
I remember he helped out Robert F. Williams, too.
And Robert Williams. That's and
right.
Many of us, when the white man had his ropes and was trying to lynch us or shoot us in the back, put us in his jails and prison, if we could escape to places like Cuba or China, they would honor us and put us on the radio and our television and honor us and let us tell the world how the United States was treating us and murdering us. So our revolution became intertwined with the revolution in South and Central America, with Fidel, with Nicaragua's revolution, with the revolution that was taking place in Guatemala and El Salvador and other areas in South and Central America. And we linked our struggle with the struggle of Africa's liberation, with the South Africa, Zimbabwe, Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau was led by Ankhkakek, Sekou Touré, Kwame Nkrumah, that ideologically guided us and gave us some intellectual direction. But when we united our movement, one of the things that all of them had in common was the great leadership Marcus Garvey and men like Du Bois and Paul Robeson, and they said to us, freedom is, you're fighting for freedom, but all freedom is based on land, and your land is Africa. And so we came to Marcus Garvey's position, we'll never be free until Africa's free. Africa's our motherland, Africa's the land of our ancestors, and this land is rich with diamonds and gold and oil. This land is rich with your culture and your experiences and your history, and until you look that way and lean that way and go that way toward Africa, we will always be slaves and always have a slave mentality. And we have to stop the forces that come to Africa to steal our diamonds and gold and oil. These are the same forces that stole us from Africa and put us in slavery, and that would be the People's Society, United States, France, Britain, and Germany. That has an economic system called capitalism, where the rich get richer and the poor get poor. So I'll stop there. And the last point is that the one word that put us all together, all black leaders, all African leaders throughout the world, the word is called Pan-Africanism, and that just means worldwide African unity, worldwide so-called black unity. And until we have that, there would be a million more Trayvons, or Emmett Till's, or Martin King, or Malcolm X's, or Nat Turner's. So, brother, I'll stop there.
All right. Brother Unc, you are...
Yeah, Mao Zedong, he got a kill rate of about 45 million. I just want to put that out there. And so we see that these Europeans or Chinese, whenever they have a revolution, they want to kill half of their own people. We see that, 45 million. People starving. That's the reality of that. I'm not saying in revolution people don't get hurt, but when you start talking about killing 45 million of your own people, I think some type of adjustment.
Didn't get all Uncle Tom. They should have did 50 million.
Right, but that's a European mind kill rate. Let me get to culture, because what we're really talking about is culture here. That's what Brother Unc want to bring to the table. So let's see if the Europeans understand what culture is. This is a European college textbook, anthropology. Okay? We're going to find out how these Europeans think how important culture is. It says, on the basis of cultural learning, people create, remember, and deal with ideas. They grasp and apply specific systems of symbolic meaning. And anthropologist Clifford Geese defines culture as ideas based on cultural learning, symbols. Cultures have been characterized as sets of control mechanisms, plans, recepts, rules, instructions. Okay, what computer engineers call programs for the governing behavior. See, you be programmed in your culture. It said these programs are absorbed by people through enculturation and particular traditions. People gradually internalize, right, and previously established system of meaning, symbols. They use this culture system to define their world, express their feelings, and make their judgments. This system helps guide their behavior, right, and perception throughout their lives. So we understand that the European, according to the book dealing with anthropology, that means dealing with all human behaviors. Okay. They understand culture. They get it. They know that once you learn a foreign culture, it's like a computer program that governs your mind. Real basic. So what I advocate is going back to your traditional African culture of governing systems, and that's the information I'm going to bring today. I'm going to give you traditional African governing systems based on African culture. That's what I want to do.
Okay, well, let me mention some functioning governing systems as applied as in modern times. Let me define democracy. Government by the people. Basically, people are democratically elect president, whatnot, to govern. Then you have republic, government which chief of state who is not a monarch. Then we have a theocracy, governed by divine guidance. Let me repeat that again, a theocracy, government by divine guidance, okay? Then we got monarchy, absolute power by one person, okay? We got dictatorship, government and power to one person or clique. Then we got parliament, which is, in England, they had nobility, they had the clergy and commons called together to form law, much like our legislative system like the Congress and the Senate. Then you have the legislative, executive, and judicial, which is here in America. You got the legislative, which Congress and Senate that make the laws. You got the judicial, which is the feds and 9 judges who interpret the Constitution. Then you got the executive, which is the administration who enforces the law. So my question is, we talk about, nationhood, and we talk about different forms of government. And so what I want to do today here with Brother Ankh and Mukasa and soon to be Yanga, just come on in, ghetto style. I want to compare all these systems and just based on definition.
You missed it though.
Yeah. Yang, what's up, man? What's going on? Ghetto style. No, come in, ghetto style. Just come on in. Come on in. You know how we do it. All right.
Black African Power. Black Son.
Thank you.
Black Son.
Yo.
It's very interesting. When you went into your governmental systems, you missed traditional African. I didn't hear no traditional African term.
Well, I mentioned one that actually falls under Egypt, theocratic, theocracy. Yeah, theocracy.
Yeah,
now, let me repeat this again.
So
Yang, hold on. So Yanga can hear these definitions. You got a democracy, which is governed by the people. You got a republic, which is governed by a chief or state who is not a monarchy. You got a theocracy, which is governed by divine guidance. Oh. Then you got monarchy, absolute power by one. Oh, I forgot to throw in anarchy, which is no government. You got dictatorship, government in the power to one person or clique. You got a parliament, which is a nobility. You got the clergy and commons called together for law, kind of like our legislative.
Like their legislative, not ours.
Huh?
Like their legislative.
Oh, yeah,
American
yeah.
government and American Senate and senators and congressmen, they're not our government.
Right.
It's their government.
Right.
And that we opposed to it, and they're nothing but a bunch of hypocrites.
Right.
That
and
we have absolutely no respect for.
Now, I know in Egypt they had a theocracy, meaning basically in a definition of government by divine guidance. So,
where you get that from, Yang? Did he just make that up?
A theocracy.
He made that up, didn't he?
I think there's a real form of government.
In fact, not only did Egypt have I think it was Akhenaten who's the most modern. He said he wanted one guy and he was forced. So he was forcing not only, one guy, so forcing your belief. So yeah, that's a theocracy.
That's
what, all day and every day.
What they say, Iran has.
Right.
A theocracy.
Okay, enough of that. Let me get right in on that. First of all, Akhenaten, he simply moved the capital, and he chose to acknowledge the Most High. High noon, Atun, which is simply the most high position of the sun. That is when the sun is at its hottest position. He honored his ancestors, according to Dr. Ben, black man and now his family, I believe it's 230. Okay, when he talks about Akhenaten and how he was trying to rid the enemy that had breeded in. When the priesthood had started to get a little corrupt there. So he was trying to breed them out of it. Okay, so no, divine from an African context is what? Those simple, just rulers. Those who handle the needs of the people. You're supposed to be the force of the people, right? You're supposed to guide them. Let me give you some simple things.
Oh, hold on, man. Yang, a question.
Let me finish my point, though. You cut me off.
But you cut me off, though. I was asking you a question.
Hold on. There is no state-owned property, right? The final say on distribution, right, and use of resources was responsible not to the state, but to the people. I'm going to say this again. There is no state-owned property in traditional Africa. The final say on distribution and use of resources was responsible not to the state, but to the people. These systems make, watch this, we start talking about capitalism, socialism, say these systems make no provision for the women to be equal. No dual-sex socialism or capitalism. No dual-sex rulership. So I'm going to introduce dual-sex rulership that was in traditional Africa. And I'm going to give you all the African states did that. Hold on, let me finish. The women in many African societies were and continue to be in charge of the markets, economic powers, and land. Land transfer, right, through the maternal live, okay? The government system always follows and accompanies religious systems. So when they put in their government systems, they put in their religions. We're talking about European capitalism or socialism or communism. Remember, they give you religion Then they, right behind that comes that governmental system. Now you can go ahead, Yanga.
Okay, now Yang, let me ask you a question. Based on what Unc read there, it's a theocracy.
Okay.
So my question to you, as a Muslim,
How is that a
can you
theocracy?
hold on? Can you unite all
how
people
is that a
under?
how is that?
Hold on, come on,
No,
come
I'm
on,
just asking you
Joe,
a question.
Unc,
You
trip,
said that. I want to know
because
how
he
would I
said
just read
because
it? I said the land do not belong right to the
right.
government. How is that a theocracy, Black?
it's a theocracy
How is
because
that?
the Egyptians governed by divine gods. Were the pharaohs? Was he not divine?
First of all, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
when
but
you
hold
say
on, but I'm
Egypt.
asking
What is
Yang
he
a
talking
question.
about?
I'm asking Yang a
That's a
question.
Greek word. That means burnt
God,
black
really?
faces. Black people don't get burnt black faces when they in Africa.
This is
Go
totally
ahead.
out of order.
We in order. Go ahead.
No, this is
We
out
was
of
out of
order.
order
I
last 2
just
weeks.
asked Yang a question.
Last
I
2
just
weeks we was
asked
out of
Yang a
order.
question.
Now we're in order.
No, we
We're
out
in
of
order.
order.
My yacht right now.
No.
Go ahead.
My
God.
First of all, to answer Son's question, all the people, I don't think that all the people will ever be united under theocracy.
Thank you.
Never will that work. Secondly, say the thing about
We talking about Kemet now.
Right.
Prove that Kemet, right?
I don't-
that
yeah.
they thought that they divine thinking had something to do with some spook god. Prove that right here, right now, and give me the reference.
what
Right.
we saying, what we're saying, right.
And then
Don't
my
just
second
say
thing
it.
I
Go
want to
ahead,
address. My second thing I want to address, under a socialist ideology, like you were saying, the dual leadership, the women and the male leadership, under socialist ideology, the ideal socialism is to do away with sexism. So there is no, like you say, that so-called role of male, female. It's everyone produces, everyone. So we get away from what do they call those? What is that called, Baba? When the man is, what is that called? Hierarchies,
Patriarch.
Man
yeah,
ruling.
that type of
Yeah.
thing. In an ideal socialist setting, that the sexism and classism are two of the biggest things that are done away with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also to the point that I think it was made also that in traditional Africa under communalism, then the woman and man had equal roles, and
Thank
even
you.
the women had greater roles, and sometimes the leaders, the women was the leaders and the most dominant ones of society. So under traditional Africa communalism, there was equality, and nobody had interest over the people. The people was always the interest of the masses.
I think one of the things that throw us, and this is where it's going to take Ankh to come in, is really one of the things that throw us is the language. Because even when we say, with all due respect, Baba, when we say that women were the lead in something, women were the role, men were the, if we're talking about monarchies, if we're talking about queendoms and kingdoms, then we're talking about eventually that being spread with imperialism. So it all ties back into a political
You just made a
understanding.
mistake.
That's why I say
that's a
it's
mistake.
into the role of what a king in Africa meant. See, what we
talk
have to
about
do,
that.
exactly,
hold
what
on,
we
hold
have
on.
to do is stop defining ourselves
By European concepts and ideas.
All right, well, let me say this real quick, though. Based on now, I know a democracy works on the majority.
Right.
Okay? Now, a majority of people that are into MAAT is a behavior modification.
Which
And-
makes it
Which
makes
hold
it-
on, what makes it a religion,
Makes
right?
it a religion.
So anytime you try to impose a religion on people, then it causes hostility. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why you have wars with like Muslims, Christians, and now you're coming in with any type of adjustment of any type of behavior is going to cause hostility. So what we need to do is concentrate on, like I said, economical systems, and like I said, I like the democracy where we all come in and vote. Like I
democracy we live in now.
well, explain it, Mukasa.
Malcolm said this is a hypocrisy.
That's right.
Right, I agree.
And that,
I totally agree.
Also, I want to make a point that we Africans had our own religion for thousands and thousands of years and our own culture. And we had two major invasions. The Arab, who brought in Islam,
That's right.
and who brought in Arab culture, Arab language, Arab dress, and they began to dominate Africans and even take our land and put us in slavery and the Africans who were educated into Islam, many of them began to act in the interest of Arabs and seeing Arab culture as most important and most as dominant, and began to undermine our culture. And we can see that today where they're having a war in Timbuktu, and the Africans that's coming in under the so-called Islamic culture destroying and tearing down Timbuktu, which was one of the most oldest educational centers in the world. And then you had the Euro-Christian who come to Africa in the name of Jesus, in the name of the Bible, and in the name of religion, bringing Europeanism into Africa and killing us by the million, stealing everything they could get their hands on, including us, and bringing us over here. And in the name of Christianity and religion, they were the most violent and the most uncivilized behavior toward human beings. And they did it in the name of Jesus, in the name of the Bible, and they're nothing but hypocrites. And I say that to say the name of the first slave ship was called Good Slave Ship Jesus.
Hold on, Yang, I'm going, Mike. I can't let y'all get me today.
No,
I think the mistakes are always very clear, Black, that first of all, you need governing principles and rules and regulations. That's for African people. Now, by the time you come to somewhere else, they're lawless people. Remember, some of the words we use was like amu, meaning you're a terrorist, meaning you follow no rules and regulations. Now, you can call it a religion if you want to. I call it an African governing system. Sometimes people need to be governed. I don't mean no harm about that. Right. Meaning in African, traditional African setting, right, the family governed itself first. You wouldn't even make it to the daggone village leaders. That get taken care of at home. So let me get into, this is from the Black Journal, the Journal of Black Studies. Now, this is peer-reviewed work now on the subject matter of African governing systems. Now, we're talking about dual-sex governing systems. Let y'all know how that work real fast, okay? The Ashanti, y'all know who they is, West Africa, right? It say the Queen Mother seems to have jurisdiction in her own court over women connected with her own attendants and also cases of disputes between chief and his wives. She appears to have judications also in certain cases where males and litigants, it was and is, I believe, still the practice of application being made by both parties. It says to have cases transferred from the chief to the Queen's Mother's court where litigation is cheaper. So see, the women do it a little bit cheaper. You know how they do, right? It say the Queen Mother had and still has, in an ever lessening degree, because of colonialism now, right, a great influence over all women. She attends ceremonies connected with the birth and puberty and is or was personally connected with the morals, right, of the young generation. That's guidelines, rules and regulations set by culture to tell you how you're supposed to govern your actions. That's not a religion. See, watch this. Going in real fast because we're going in deep. Black African power. We're sitting here with the information. We're going to the papyrus of Ani. Okay? In the papyrus of Ani, people make the mistake to study Egyptology. I'm not an Egyptologist. I don't study Egypt, right? My parents are from Kemet. You feel me? So I'm studying myself.
That was before Egypt.
Black African power. You feel me? Egypt is a Greek name. So the papyrus of Ani, you think this religion, right? From the longer mind. Let me finish. Hold on, Black. Wait, there wasn't no time in the last 2 weeks. Let me put this in. Right here, what we have is the papyrus of Ani. What you see right now, you see the court system now. These are the Supreme Court judges. People make the mistake in thinking it's religion. No, this is how you judge yourself, right? Then you see the Feather MAAT, the woman. She sits there as a judge. Okay, you got the court recorder right here.
So let me ask you a question.
Hold on. The court recorder, recording the events, right? You got the question. This is recording the events, right? Then what you have is you have the Chief Justice sitting on the throne. Okay, we all know in Africa, traditional Africa, the throne, the seat of power is the woman and the male sits on that. So right here, this is your first fundamental understanding, right, of the judicial system, which is part of the governmental system.
But here's why I have the problem with I don't have a problem with our governmental system in Africa. I have a problem with Kemet being used synonymous with the continent of Africa.
Absolutely.
Because
Good question.
My question is this: what about outside of Kemet? If that's presented, like say, a few Africans, we go according to that, then what's going to have to happen is we're going to have wars, enforcement of that law, the whole thing. When we're saying, especially in socialism, that is empowering of the people with direct, we don't believe in it like we're going into administrations. I know somebody's going to bring up Russia, this and that. They took it and turned it into a state capitalism. So it goes into a whole political study. But what I'm saying is this: if we come with a cultural view, one cultural view, not a Pan-Africanist nationalist cultural view of us all saying that we derive from Africa, but if we come with one specific cultural view, one specific religious view, or even one specific political view, we stand the chance of alienating and isolating other Africans.
Not in Africa. You ever read the book? You ever read the book Pre-Colonial Africa by Sheikh Anthony Diop? You ever read that book?
You faced
You read that?
also, right?
Yeah, a big coup
You
d'etat.
faced
But see,
serious
we
coup
got a
d'etat.
misunderstanding.
Right,
Hold
and
on.
right.
Hold
But
on.
see, no matter how you explain it, it's certain people that's not going to accept MAAT. Because, like I said, when you have
all accept MAAT. Let's see. Let's see. Go, keep talking.
You interrupted me?
No, you're right. Absolutely, bro.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The point that I'm making is that you have people in the majority, now Unc might disagree with it, people treating MAAT as a religion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I totally agree.
Right, and that's the majority.
I totally
that's
agree.
Majority
That's
rules.
not the truth.
Right. So
We got
when you
students right here.
But hold on,
We got
hold on,
master
But
teachers.
the point I'm making is that, just like Unc said, you cannot, we're not monolithic with our cultures. Just like, you can't say all African people come from Africa. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, no. Where they come from?
Hold on. You got
Where they
many
come
different
from, Black?
dialects. Hold on.
Where
You
they
got
come
many
from,
different
Black?
dialects.
Where they
You
come
got
from,
many
Black?
different languages. And so you got many
Where they
different
come from?
concepts. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, and please don't interrupt me, is I'm saying
You
is
said
that
something crazy.
if you install one culture, let me read this definition of what fascism is. A repressive form of government that takes on police state characteristics in that all forms of political, economical, and social opposition is forcibly suppressed to maintain status quo.
You just described
The United States. Yeah, you didn't describe
right,
Philip.
right. But I'm saying, but if you try to impose one type of culture on Africa, then you fall on the slave master.
You know what? Hold on. You're absolutely right. Read the book Pre-Colonial Africa by Sheikh Anthony Diop. He shows in Africa we have a cultural unity. That's called checkmate. Because what I just named, the dual sex leadership, is all through Africa. I go from the bottom of Africa to the top of Africa. Go ahead, Elder.
You forgot to mention in your propriety, there's a priest in there, so you automatically set up for a theocracy.
Do you know what a priest is, though? We'll get into that.
It don't matter. The English language, when you say priest,
in the English
I'm
language,
automatically thinking,
you're right,
you know
absolutely.
It's a theocracy. And how many Crips and Bloods gonna take that as a theocracy? Straight up. Okay, go ahead.
And also, I think both of you made the great point that the culture, African culture, and what's the role of culture, and that the African culture guided and directed us and built a lot. And even though a lot of us use religion or some part of religion or describe it, but what we're really trying to do is look at culture and look at the African culture and what we were able to accomplish and do and build a continent and hold it together for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years is the African culture. And that's what they have suppressed in us is our culture and made us not have knowledge of that African culture because culture is a weapon. And our African culture is the weapon that will consolidate us, bring us back together, and unite us and make a force. We must demand and we must study our African culture, and all of what you're describing here today is just different aspects of our African culture at different times.
You described a misunderstanding of African culture.
And I think that's going to be the question. I think that's the biggest thing, We have declared, and here's what's going to be unfortunate, because we knocked in the CN Council, we locked in a lot of the Bang Dun conference and everything. We're going to have something similar to define what is African culture, because what happens is, in us coming from a lot of religious misunderstanding, we'll take one culture and we'll try to make that the supreme dominant culture of Africa, as if Africa was a country. Right. And so we have to be inclusive, just like my man Kantazuma, whom is known in the Islamic world as Mansa Musa, you know what I'm saying, who was a Muslim, who has so much influence in the Mali Empire, in the Mandinkan Empire, that even when he made his Hajj to Mecca, he has so much riches that he destabilized the whole market. So because he was a Muslim, do we X him out of African history? So we have to sit down and we have to. Yeah. So, but he was a black. Nah.
Grizzly gotta go.
How do you do that?
Grizzly gotta go.
But see, that's what I mean. That's what you call revisionism. That's what you call revisionism.
You don't X nobody out. You don't X nobody out. You just look at their behavior. Right. And now you could say Mansa Musa was either negative force for Africa or positive force for Islam in Africa, and that Mansa Musa was converted to Islam, and he worked for Arab and pushed the Arab culture in Africa, which is a negative influence.
Checkmate.
Right.
Checkmate.
It's not a checkmate. I'm gonna tell you why it's not a checkmate, because he answered the question.
That's right.
what he said, what a lot of cultural nationalists and neo-nationalists would do, they would X him out because of the Islamic influence. What I'm saying is we can't monopolize Africa. We have to be open enough to take every influence, like Kwame Nkrumah said, you're taking everything. We have to put it on the board. And like our elder said, Baba said, is it productive or not productive or counterproductive?
Here's my point, Yanga. He was suffering, right, from an inferiority complex to accept Islam. What you're saying is that what you're saying is that I'm practicing a system. The Muslims come in. I now accept their system. That means whatever I was practicing, I felt it was inferior to what came in. That's what we suffer from in America. Okay? Hold on. Inferiority complex. So back to the preparedness of our needs. So now we recognize, right, at 2000 BC, 3000 BC, right, this is the oldest system of governing for justice and court. Supreme Court, you got your bailiff right here.
Where's the priest?
Here's your priest right here.
Show him the priest.
Right here. Okay. They call the priest Haru. He's working. To be a priest in Africa, you had to go to school for 40 years. You're a mathematician, you're a scientist, you're a biologist, you're a botanist, you know what I'm saying? Agriculture, hold on, I want to question. Agriculture, right? You're a school, high-level doctorate degree to be a priest. And hold on, Black.
What if
Black,
you don't accept...
Black,
no, hold on,
then you don't go to school to be a priest then.
What if you don't accept MAAT as a system? So what do you do with those people?
Here we go. So ask me, all of us
question.
on this panel, let me see if you agree with what MAAT is, since we don't really know. Let's see. First, there are 5, 6, 7 principles to MAAT. I want to know if you agree with them. The first one is truth of self. Do you disagree with truth of self? Yes or no? How about you, Black?
Well, Christianity says the same thing.
Hold on.
Islam say the same
Not the
thing.
point. What? Okay, so you don't agree with truth of self. Second one, reciprocity. Hold on, reciprocity, stability of family. How many of you agree with stability of your family?
Islam supports that and
Hold on.
Christianity supports
So
that.
do you agree with support of family? Do you? Okay, now, order of family, community, and environment. Do you agree with being in order with your environment? If you're not in order with your environment, it will kill you. Now, balancement with nature. Y'all agree to that? Yeah. How about righteousness? Yeah. Declaration of the truth. Yeah. Do any of y'all disagree with that? I know you do, Black. And harmony. Oneness with each other. Right. Oneness with nature. Right. If you disagree with that anyway, then you end up being an Asiatic cracker anyway, and you don't deserve to live amongst African people.
So what I'm saying
Checkmate, Black.
Is that what I'm saying?
How you go against that?
Hold on.
That's not a religion, that's a way of acting.
Hold on.
I don't come on the show and lie because I practice my yacht. I tell the truth.
Hold on.
I do not be deceptive.
See, this is disorder. Right?
No, this is called Africa time to talk.
I think like even Black Son.
How's that a religion though?
You're right.
That's a way of governing yourself.
Black Son had a point too.
What was his point?
I'm gonna tell you his point because becoming as an Orthodox Muslim, everything you just read, Wallah al-Azim, I can go in the Quran and find.
Hold up.
But hold on.
Let me get it.
Right.
So where they steal it from?
They stole it from us, and I've been saying that. But here's the point I make.
So you still a Muslim, no, Yanga?
I'm a Muslim.
See, after you just recognized where it came from, you don't want to do African things.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Amazing.
Let me tell you why. Here's the checkmate. Because you've talked about an ideology, but you haven't talked about mode of productions, means of passing out, taxation. Wait, because I know this. Let me tell you this. When you put the title, if you just say universal principles.
You haven't talked about that neither though. None of y'all have talked about that yet.
We've tried to get to it.
Well, get to it then. Hold up, Yang. Stop all that. Get to that. How you gonna do that? Go.
On a mode of production. This is how I'm gonna get. This is how I would do it if I was put. The first thing I would do is have a plebiscite, which is a coming together of all Africans, people of African descent.
I agree.
Then we would not be so narrow-minded on our nationalism to say what we're going to expel or what we're going to exclude. When you put a title, everything you said was the truth. When you put a title on it, you lost me. Because I am not going to.
I just gave you what it was. It's called MAAT. It's just called MAAT. I don't care what you call it. You have to be truthful to each other.
So what if I call it Islam? You do care what it's
called. Then you're talking
somebody call it Christianity.
Then you're talking about
hold on, wait. Somebody might call it socialism.
Hey, Yanga. And once you call it Islam, now because Islam is politics. Right? Meaning politics of Arab people.
Exactly.
This is politics of African people.
No,
of course I accept politics.
It's politics of Kemet people.
That's not the truth.
It's politics of Kemet people.
That's right. Okay.
You can't
claim
so
let's do this.
Africa because if you're claiming
let's do this.
that's totalitarian.
Absolutely. Hold on. So where do the people from Kemet come from? Where do the people from Kemet come from? No. Where do the people from Kemet come from? Let's talk about. Let's go down to Lake Chad, Lake Victoria. Let's go down
All right,
there
but hold on,
where the
hold on,
oldest bones
hold on,
are found.
hold on,
So
hold on,
the
hold on.
people that inhabited
Dogmatic. Let me
Kemet at the
define
end of the
Jamal
day
dogmatic.
come from inner Africa, sub-Saharan African people.
Okay, but
you gotta calm down, bro.
I can't calm down
MAAT-
because this is my time to shine.
MAAT is an evolved thought process. You mean to tell me the first people just when they came exactly? So it's an evolved thought process from their geographical location, from their cultural influences, and from the influence of foreigners. So somebody on the other side of Africa who may not come in contact with those people may not call, even though they may have those principles, may not call it that. And when you get
excuse me, who are these people that practice that
Africans.
outside of Africa?
What
Did
do
you know
mean?
of? What
I'm
European
saying-
nation practice
No,
that?
I'm not talking about European
You just
nations.
said that. You said
I'm
people
talking
outside of Africa.
Outside of that part
And
of
I'm
Africa.
saying is you
I
can't
said
find
on
it.
the other side of Africa.
Where?
Just like
Where's the African
okay,
nations that not practice
Now let me
that?
tell you this. Can we go if we go to South Africa in the same time as that is or any part of Africa? I'm gonna go look up Africa. And you mean to tell me that the whole African continent practice MAAT?
They didn't hold on.
Huh?
Y'all gonna come? How y'all gonna play that?
When you put
how you
mud
gonna
on
play?
it,
How
it
you
became a
gonna
religion.
how you gonna play
That's
that?
right.
How you gonna play that,
That's
Yang?
right.
May I speak
That's
to
right.
that, please?
Go ahead.
One
Let the elder
is
come in
that
on that.
I saw you had a book, Destruction of Black Civilization,
Chancellor Williams.
and that he talked about how Africa had a single constitution, and that the religions in Africa, whether we called them MAAT or what have you, they were all similar.
That's right.
And they all come from the same sources.
Right.
Even though you may call one MAAT, you would find a great similarity to the religion that was practiced in North Africa, South Africa, East Africa. And the one thing they all had in common is that they were all Africans. And they all
but the
come
name divided
from.
them, Baba. I
no,
understand you playing
I don't
peacemaker,
see.
but I'm
You
not
ain't
gonna let
playing
you ride
peacemaker.
with that.
But it
I'm
all
not gonna
bound
let Baba
together
ride
too.
with that.
But it
That's
all
the
bound
truth, though,
together
Yang.
too.
It all bound, but see, but
Truth,
this is what
Yang.
I'm saying. It's the
Truth,
truth.
Yang.
But if
I don't
someone
know if
says
you
my,
can,
if I come and my religion is voodoo, my religion is Ifa. You know what I'm saying? And someone comes with my, when I say Ifa, it becomes religion. When he says my, it becomes religion. If we deal with the universal principles and the ideology, everybody can agree with that. Even the African Christians, the African Muslims can agree with those universal principles. But when you slap a title on it, it becomes an ideology or a philosophy or a theology. And when you enforce it and make that the state norm, is like what Black Son said, it becomes fascism. So what I'm saying is we can't be so narrow-minded that we're going to stomp this, our cultural way in Africa was MAAT. That's not true.
Did you hear what I just said?
Let me say this.
Wait, everybody got a definition of what MAAT was.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with the point that I'm making is that, like Yanga said, once you put a title on it, just like saying Crips of Bloods. Hold on. Wearing blue or red. Wearing blue or red. Hold on.
Yeah.
Man, is that what they teach you in MAAT? To cut your
No,
brother off?
that's what Brother Unc do after being cut up in this.
So what I'm saying,
bleep,
hold on.
bleep,
What I'm
for the last 2
saying
weeks.
is that MAAT
I'm
is
Black
a
African
theocratic
I was trying
religion,
not to be
and you cannot
representative. I
unite.
think
Right.
Sometimes you be trying to.
Yeah, man.
Trying to mislead
Right
us
now,
on the
right now,
African
trying to
stuff.
mislead
Young man.
on the
No,
African stuff. See that?
No, I think
African stuff.
African stuff. I
Yeah,
understand
African
stuff.
stuff.
We have to make sure that
Right.
even in our
I ain't never said
discussion,
Islamic stuff.
but
It is
even
Islamic
in
stuff.
our discussion, young men,
Right, Islamic
we have to make sure that we remember we're talking to the millions of people out here,
Right.
and we don't want to get lost among ourselves
We're not.
talking about MAAT and what have you, and people don't know what we're talking about. And all we're saying is that there's an African culture, and we definitely had religion, but we called it different things. Right. We had African culture, we called it different things. And even in Africa, it's 1,000 or 10,000 African languages,
Yes.
but they're all African.
Yes.
They all come from our culture, and the language don't have to divide us, but they can unite us. And what we're saying is that we are African people. We have different aspects of our African culture, and this is the genius and the brilliance of African people, that we are coming together with different forms of religions and what have you within us, but they are African religion. We have thousands of languages. We can explain to your wife or your mother how nice and sweet they are in 1,000 different ways and make it clear. So Africa had many geniuses, but that don't mean that we were divided, because you might call it MAAT over here, you called it Yoruba over here, you called it voodoo over here, but it was all part of the African culture, and it enriched us and made us who we are today, and that was no contradiction. So the African culture is what's rich, and that's what all of us have been robbed of, are the knowledge of our African culture, And that's what we have to come back to, because if we know and look at our African culture, we'll love our African history, we'll love our African ancestry. And going back to another thing, our religion, or our African religions, always put the elder over everything, and the ancestors.
Yep.
The ancestors are our God. Your mama, your great mama, your grandmama, your great great grandmama, and those are who we live with. And when we say gods in Africa, these were nothing but ancestors that did good among the people, that we elevate them. Sometimes we may call them queen, or sometimes when they do great things like a Martin King or Marcus Garvey, we may even one day elevate these men and these people like Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman. We may elevate them and they be our gods. What we're saying is these people are the ones that guide us and direct us and teach us to love each other and work together. And that's what we're saying now. We need to fight together, work together, because the enemies that have invaded us and influenced us have made us hate among ourselves, fight among ourselves, even kill among ourselves. And that the only way we can come together is be dominated with the African culture and find our personality and live it and make it dominant.
Let me say this, and this is definitely with all due respect to the Baba, to the panel here. I'm not going to be vague. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to play with anybody. I don't believe in that blind, African centralized thinking without it being explained. I don't believe that Africa is a country right now. I pray and want and fight for the United States of Africa, but right now it is not a country, it is a continent. And for us to sit here, even when we say the ancestors became our gods or whatever, we borderline theology. Now, I thought I was the only religious person on here. I thought I was the only Muslim. Is it not? Is it not? Even regardless of what, when we start borderline, these are our gods, these are our saints and saviors, we fall into a trap that we've always fallen into, and that's looking to an individual. So when you see the flaw in that individual, we become disillusioned with whatever movement that individual represents. Now with Dr. King and with Malcolm X and with everything, I look through his growth through the Nation of Islam, through Orthodox Islam, through his nationalism and everything, and what I look for is his message. Not so more in the individual, not so much as deifying the individual, not so much as raising the individual to a plateau of the Messiah or the one to return anything, but the message that individual brought. What we're going to have, and this is my opinion, what I suggest that we do as African people and people of African descent here in the country is we have to be open-minded. We're going to have to listen to the African nationalist Christians, the African nationalist Muslims, the African. If you have African and you're in for the empowerment and liberation of African people, you should be allowed to bring your whatever to the board. And then we take from that and we look for that empowerment. If we push one centralized, like Africa was one country, and if you don't wear dashiki, you're not African. If it ain't this color, if it ain't right, you know what I'm saying? So I think that our cultural nationalists and our Afrocentrists, it's their responsibility to break that down into a social, economic, political, realistic thing for us brothers and sisters who don't get. I'm already bogged down with enough religion.
Let me see this real quick. The reason I brought this up, you know what I'm saying, in dealing with administrations, there's a lot of my Muslim brothers that are offended by you.
And I'm glad.
Hold on. And there's a lot of my Christian brothers and sisters that are offended by you because you.
Now
Hold on. Now you attack. Now hold on. Now I'm an atheist.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a
right.
bleep,
So
bleep.
So what I'm saying is that we need to stop causing friction and divide amongst our brothers and sisters because these are still our people. That's black nationalism. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that
that's called
hold on. I respect Islam.
I don't.
I respect Christianity.
I don't.
I even respect the religion of MAAT. It's a religion all day, every day.
In your
if you
mind.
look at, if you look up, y'all Google ancient governments, MAAT, Egypt, all the dynasty comes under a theocracy. Period. So what I'm saying, hold on. What I'm saying, and it's
Google
about respect.
shit now, huh?
It's about respect at the end of the day. Because we can't get nothing done without respect. You know what I'm saying?
talking a
We
lot.
can't get nothing done without talking over each other. You
Go
know,
ahead, make
we
your
talk
point,
about
Black.
we talk about the
Make
white
your
man
point, Black.
having
Make your point, Black.
a fork tongue, right? But we got some people who had 3 cars shuffle time. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like
So
the
what I'm
last two
saying-
shows?
Hold
Oh,
on,
okay,
what
I
I'm
get
saying.
it.
Hold on.
Yeah, this called my y'all bringing the order back and balance.
What I'm saying
Get
is
your
that
point out, Black.
We need a working system. MAAT
Yeah.
is not the uniting force.
Oh, no.
As long as you have people that are
My turn
offended
next,
by
y'all,
it,
if you don't mind.
and you got the majority of people who are in the MAAT as a religion. They religious with it.
We ain't talking
And
about them.
So like
We ain't
Malcolm
talking
X
about
said,
them.
hold on. Malcolm X said, let's leave it at the door. Let's deal with economics. Yeah. Let's deal with food, clothing, shelter. Let's deal with science. Let's deal with technology. Let's deal with defense. This is what I'm saying.
Hold on,
You know what I'm
Elder,
saying?
hold on.
Things
Let me
that
get
are
my point,
tangible.
though.
Yeah,
Hold
things
on.
are tangible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
We
I've
waste too
been
much
waiting,
time.
but you know
We
what?
waste too much
Hold
time.
on. I've been waiting, but I'm going to defer to the elder.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. Kwame Nkrumah called it consensusism. And what he says that we have to take the positive from all the different religions that African people practice all over the world and use the positive from each one and come together and fight. That's why Malcolm say, you don't bring your religion to the meeting, but we come together to fight for a unity of Africa, to feed the hungry, to free the people in captivity, to educate the masses of the people. And that, so Nkrumah called it consensusism. And I want to make this point before I quit. You had men like Malcolm X, who was Islamic, and Sekou Touré was Islamic. Martin Luther King and Kwame Nkrumah were both Christians. Du Bois was an atheist. Sekou Touré was a devout Muslim. Idi Amin was a devout Muslim. But they all came together and fought for the unity and the liberation of Africa. And the last point I want to make, that in Cuba, where I just left not long ago, you got people down there that practice religions from all over the world. And that, 1,000 different religions. They have total freedom of religion, but they all come together to fight for a socialist and to help the world, to make medicine for the world, to give food for the world, and to bring justice for the world. And nobody, voodoo all down, and nobody is condemned for the religion that they practice, and that your religion is based on your experience. If you're in somewhere where they experience traditional Africa or the MAAT, then you practice that. If you, now I'm saying, I lean toward traditional Africa, of course, or you can be atheist. Du Bois was an atheist, and him and Kwame Nkrumah and Sekou Touré and Martin King, they loved each other and they fought together for the liberation of Africa. So it's not about religion. It's about, are you for Pan-Africanism? Are you for the liberation of the masses? Are you working to organize Africa? Do you belong to an organization? Are you trying to feed the hungry? Are you trying to stop all the injustice that our people are facing all over the world?
Black, you don't got to do that. It's my turn. No, we not. Ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody talking. If Unc don't get to talk on this road, then nobody talking. We ain't doing it. He got to show respect. Right, he got to show respect.
Don't get excited.
No, I wasn't. I ain't been talking all day. Here's my point. I want to clear up the nonsense about the ancestors not being gods. Excuse me, do you know your great-grandmother's name?
Yeah.
Do you know your great-grandfather's name?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him right now. Yeah. Checkmate. Now, the
How's
point,
that checkmate?
be-
Please
because,
explain checkmate.
be-
How is that God? What
because,
is that
hold
God?
on.
No, because
You don't
see,
think,
that's the
hold on,
bad
here you
part.
go, Yanga.
How's that God?
You don't think you're a force of nature, bro?
I know I'm a force of nature, but
Thank
I'm
you.
not God.
So watch this. So for the African, God and nature is one and the same. That's why I say checkmate.
But see, that's
You
theology.
get that? You get
That's
that? No, it's
theology.
not. That's all it is. Because all it is me and you, bro.
Right, exactly. But when you make that God, when
No,
you make
that's
that
just a terminology. To the,
Exactly.
hold on. The elder said it. To the African mindset, a God was a wise elder. He sits as God on the panel.
Then why
The
can't
wise
it be a
elder.
wise elder? Why it got to be
No,
God?
because from
You
the
know what I'm saying?
look, the wise old elder in people's religions
So
became
you mean
God.
to tell me in every Africa, this is what I'm saying, this is
Yes.
what gets me about the Afrocentricists. So in all of
Yes.
Africa, you mean to tell me when I go research, in all of Africa, when I
Yes.
look up,
Yes.
they respected their elders as God?
Yes.
So you standing on that too?
I don't know about
Baba?
God. is
Okay,
a big
somebody
word.
say something.
I mean,
Hey,
God,
hold
say
on.
something. God is
You know I'm gonna
confusing
bring it
word.
next
Please
week.
bring it.
You know I
Listen,
got
please
to
bring it.
I don't want to use the word God, but all I'm
that's a
saying,
dramatic word.
the ancestor was highly respected.
Yes.
And that's all. And look to and guide. Our ancestors guide and direct us in our
See,
thoughts
right, so
or
hold on,
whatever.
I wanna finish
Now, the
my point.
last point I wanted to make is that
The elder always
the ancestors, something we have to look at. But when we look at nature, we explain nature, the sun, the wind, the rain, in all
Okay,
aspects.
but Baba,
We
and
make.
I'm sorry to cut you off. 'Cause
Okay,
brother,
no
Why
worries.
can't I finish my point?
That's why
though?
I'm going to you. But we were scientists. Don't say we were spooky and
great
everything
scientists.
was God.
We were
We were
scientists.
scientists. We were scientific, and if we thought everything was God, we evolved. We would still be worshiping the sun instead of learning how to harness and use solar power.
Wait,
You have to evolve.
All right, hold on.
You said
Hold on,
Akhenaten
hold on.
worship the sun, high
Hold on,
noon,
hold on,
the
hold
Most
on,
High.
hold on. Let me, that's another. Hold on. That's why we're gonna have the Black Atheist Study Show. We're gonna be sitting on there with our information. Now, you told me that I did not respect Christians and Muslims.
I'm sorry.
Nobody respects the African thing in this world. I'm here, deemed by the ancestors to make them respect Africa. I do not respect Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. You can write down in your own family, they do not respect black African power. You know it and I know it. They do not respect black atheism. They do not understand what it is. So why the hell do I gotta respect theirs? I don't care about them Christians, bro. They need to get some study time up, then they won't be Christians no more.
Well, let me say this.
They need to
I would
do.
rather get them study time on technology, like you were saying, Yang.
I'm
I ain't got
with that.
time to be debating on
I totally agree.
theologies, you know what
I
I'm saying?
totally agree.
Because I know some good Christians. You know
Do
what I'm
you?
saying? I know some
I do.
excellent
My
Muslims.
mother good
I know
Christian.
some excellent Muslims. Right. So
My
the point
grandmother
that I'm
good Christian.
making is that we spend too much. It's too dogmatic. Talking,
I hear your point, Black.
reality.
Are y'all willing to allow a Muslim to sit at the top of African new civilization? Yes or no?
I'm not.
Are you willing to allow a Christian to sit at the top of an African brand new
What about
African?
MAAT?
Right, nobody.
I'm not.
First of all, hold on. I'm willing to allow an African, if he, see what we have is a misunderstanding. See, the elder said it the best. Y'all can rewind it. Hold on, wait. Y'all can rewind the tape. The elder explained it because he's the wise old elder. He is showing how he came in, right? He understands the dynamics of the conversation, and he brought the balancing force, whether it's Kulu.
Because he agreed with you?
He didn't agree with me. Hold on.
Your ancestors was
No, he didn't agree. No,
I love my elder,
hold on.
but I
He did
have to
not
disagree
agree
with
with you.
that.
Hold on. He didn't agree. What he did was he combined our thoughts and ideas and expressed it in a godlike manner. And an ancestor, an elder, a wise old elder manner. That's the point. See, we got a lot of miseducation going on. Black son make the point of, wait a minute, he run across people spooked out. He do. You go to the black community where they think they practicing my yacht right, they woo, but over there sleep with somebody else's people.
Okay, but hold on.
How's that order in the community?
It's one thing I
my whole-
respect.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry,
Yang. Go ahead, please, Yang. I want to go
Well,
after
you
Yang.
sure? My whole thing is I'm looking at me because we can sit here and discuss this till the cows come home. But when you talk about either Christians or Muslims, the Muslims have outproduced the African centralist people because we're still caught up on spookism and culturalism. Until we move into a social economic
Don't say culturalism.
culturalism.
Did
And I'ma
you
tell
get the
and I'ma
definition?
tell
You missed that,
and I'ma
right?
say, yeah, I missed the definition of
point, make
culturalism.
your point.
And why I'm gonna say culturalism, be brief, because it doesn't just end there. It doesn't just end with culture. You can have a return to the culture, but if we don't have a social economic system and a means of producing and a means of distributing the goods, then we can have all the culture we want, which a lot of Afrocentric have. But look at the dashikis, look at the red, black, and green flags. That's your culturalism for you. That made
You're
something
right.
else.
Let Black go. Black ain't saying nothing.
All right.
But one last.
You gotta let the elder go.
Just for one.
You gotta let the elder
Hold on,
go.
what I'm
You gotta
saying.
respect the
All
elder.
right,
yo.
go ahead, Mukasa.
I'm not saying that our ancestors were God. I'm saying our ancestors was highly respected,
Yes, sir.
and that the only way we're gonna move forward is look at our ancestors. I mean, for not just mom and dad, and grandmama, and great grandmama, but we need to look at that going back thousands of years, and they will guide us and show us and bring us closer together and make us love each other.
Go ahead, Black.
What I'm saying, all right.
Go ahead,
it's
Black. Harry, you're
all
Black.
About Black Power.
Oh, you got a minute left?
Hold on. So one more thing, because man, y'all been all over the place. Next week, we're gonna finish up the
Yeah, 'cause we ain't
government structure because we really didn't finish it. I really wanted to
we
kind
did.
of critique. No, I wanted to critique these working systems now, right? Because
Yeah, but you
I want to
put
implement.
Africa in a crazy category, yo.
I didn't put that. No.
Give me one European civilization that lasted longer than 1,000 years.
I'm not
Do
even
anybody
talking
have
about,
one?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm talking
You
about,
read from governmental
Hold on.
systems that don't last longer than 1,000 years, and then you called the one that's
I was
3, 4,
referring to
5.
government
Hold on,
systems
listen
that
to
are
me.
actually in the destruction of black
Black
civilization.
son, Black son, no, a Black son.
Actually,
Hold
Chancellor
on.
Williams.
Black son, when you read them, right, you called with a little joke kind of slick tone that,
No.
hold on, that Egypt was a theocracy. Well,
was
then maybe we
theocracy.
need to practice that because they 5,000 years,
But I don't
30,000
think we
years.
should go. But
All
see,
we're
I
saying
don't think we
is
should go
Africa
backwards. though.
must be free.
Must be
If
free.
we're going to have power and respect,
Black power,
Africa must be free.
And they my brothers though. That's the
And
piece
we
on
are
that.
African people.
That's my piece on that. I just want to make sure I got my piece because now I can calm back down now. I'm good.
We're gonna have to work on. We're gonna have to work on that.
religion.
We're gonna have to work on
God is the star of the show. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that gotta be made up
Black
too.
Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
So keeping Saturdays and studying on Saturdays. Studied myself right out of the book. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that
God that you all claim that you all believe in. That you all claim that you all believe in. Make us believe. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
people made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
So keeping Saturdays and studying on Saturdays. Studied myself right out of the book. Black Atheist. Right out of the book. Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that
God that you all claim that you all believe in. That you all claim that you all believe in. Make us believe. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
people made up religion. God is the star of the show. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that gotta be made up
Black
too.
Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too.
So keeping Saturdays and studying on Saturdays. Studied myself right out of the book. Black Atheist. Right out of the book. Black Atheist.
People made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made up too. So that
God that you all claim that you all believe in. That you all claim that you all believe in. Make us believe. Black Atheist. Black Atheist.
people made up religion. God is the star of the show. So that gotta be made